Good morning, aspirants. It's 19th of November today, and I welcome you all on today's edition of What to Read in the Hindu newspaper. I'm 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝘆 𝗡𝗲𝗄𝐺, Senior Mentor at Prepp IAS. While going through the articles, we will not only see its relevance with regard to our prelims and mains paper, but we'll also try to link it with other GS papers as well. I am here to align your newspaper reading as a part of our GS syllabus. So let's get started. The very first article that catches our attention in today's paper is about Supreme Court's recalls verdict on retrospective green clearances. So when we map this particular article in our syllabus, this will fall under GS Paper 3, Environment, GS Paper 2, Role of Judiciary. The key theme that has been talked in this particular article is about ex post facto environmental clearance and judicial divergence. For prelims perspective, the arenas that we have to know and revise is about EIA, what it is and how it is being done, what are the stages for this. Afterwards, revising Environmental Protection Act of 1986, then principles such as what is precautionary measures, what is polluters pay, power of Supreme Court with regard to review and recall. For mains perspective, the same article is to be seen through the lens of judicial inconsistency in environmental governance at times, balancing development versus environment, implications for compliance and climate commitment that we have, ethical questions that targets regularizing irregularity at times, and also illegality as well. So there has been a lot of debates with around infrastructure projects that has been given retrospective clearances for the same. So this is how this particular article is to be seen. The next important article that is there in the paper and that catches our attention is on editorials page, and that majorly talks about the current economic trade, import and export that we are seeing, and that talks about excessive dependence, a structural shift in India's trade portfolio is essential. Now, this is relevant with regard to GS Paper 3 Economy, in specific to external sector. The key theme that has been talked about in this particular article is about export vulnerability due to over dependence on one market. For prelims perspective, the arenas that we have to revise is about trade deficit, current account deficit, what is depreciation, major exports sector where we do have some sort of positive record as in textile, leather and pharma. These are our sunrise sector. Afterwards, the impact of tariff hikes sanctioned by US and other European countries on India's export sector. What is the concept of REAR and NEAR basics? There has been a previous year question with regard to prelims on REAR and NEAR also. So this also needs to be read and revised. For mains perspective, this article is to be analytically seen through the lens of structural weaknesses in India's export basket that we have, need for market diversification, impact of global demand cycles on India, policy suggestions for competitive manufacturing, that is the need of the hour to tap the demographic potential that we have, or demographic dividend that we have. So this is how this particular article is to be seen. The next important article is time to sort out India's cereal mess. Now, relevant for GS Paper 3 under the theme agriculture, food security, also relevant for GS Paper 2 governance. The key theme that has been talked in this particular article is about MSP driven cereal excess versus pulses and oilseed deficit that we have. Afterwards, for prelims perspective, we need to know about MSP and CACP. Who announces MSP and how they announce. Knowing about PDS and National Food Security Act, NFSSA, FCI, its functioning and its structure, what are the procurement patterns that we have. For mains perspective, the same article is to be seen through the lens of crop diversification challenges that we are facing, water stress in non-paddy region wherein paddy is being grown. Case instance, Punjab and Haryana, fiscal burden of procurement and storage, as we lack infrastructure of storage altogether, reforming MSP, PDS, and procurement architecture altogether. This is how this particular article is to be seen. The next important article that is there in the paper and catches our attention is about global happiness in what can local bodies expect from 16th Finance Commission. So this is relevant for GS paper 2, federalism, local governance, and key theme that has been discussed is about need for devolution reforms, strengthening Panchayati Raj and municipalities. For prelims perspective, we need to know about Finance Commission from polity angle and its role in economic decentralization when it comes to a financial pool of the country. Knowing about Article 280, 73rd and 74th Amendment, type of grant that has been tied or untied, state finance commissions. For mains perspective, the same article is to be seen through the lens of fiscal decentralization challenges, mismatch between function and finances, role of finance commission in grassroots governance, data-driven grants and performance-based devolution that has been the criteria proposed back in the last finance commission. So how is it different than the next upcoming, and what all criteria have been excluded and included in the newer finance commission? So the next important article for the day is about what changes are planned for Plant Variety Act. So relevant for GS paper 3, agriculture, also GS paper 2, WTO, knowing about IPR and TRIPS policy. The key theme that has been discussed over here is the balancing between farmers' right with breeders' right. So for prelims perspective, the arenas that we have to unfold and know about is knowing about Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Right Act, that is PPV and FRA Act 2011, knowing about TRIPS agreement, farmer varieties, and essential derived variety, EDV, knowing about that, National Fund. For mains perspective, the same article is to be seen through the lens of innovation versus seed sovereignty issues, impact on traditional varieties, need to update law with biotech advances, role of IPR in agriculture. So this is how this particular article is to be seen holistically. And the last important article for the day is about QS World Ranking of Universities. How well India's performance been there. So this is relevant for GS paper 2, education, and GS paper 3, environment SDGs. The key theme that has been discussed over here is rise of Indian institution in global sustainability matrix. For prelims perspective, we need to know which organization or who measures QS ranking and the methodology for the same. What are the parameters that they have ascribed while giving any matrix? Afterwards, environmental impact and governance and equity, that has been the key role for higher education well functioning in one country while the same is not in other countries. SDG goals in higher education, role of higher education in R&D and innovation infrastructure of a country's education altogether. For mains perspective, the role of universities in climate leadership, India's academic maturity and global competitiveness so far, sustainability linked campuses, that is need of the hour, and improving research and internationalization of higher education when it comes to. Also, apart from this, the other arenas we have to see is there has been several IITs wherein offshore campuses has been established. So you people have to tell me which campus has been established in which country. So this is how this particular article is to be seen. This is all from my end for today's Hindu newspaper. Till we meet for the next time. Take care. Goodbye. Keep learning.